Hello friends, I'm LJ Jarvis, and welcome back to Lewis Jarvis Show. So, before the sororitas were given a whole new range of models like a born-again Phoenix, unfortunately, there was another 4K faction that seems to have been neglected by Games Workshop, that being the Asuryani of the Eldari Craftworlds. It's a shame too, because their lore is really fascinating, and their range of models is very colorful, with probably the most interesting aspect about them would be their aspect warriors. Yet with the exception of the Dire Avengers and Howling Banshees, the rest are fine casts. And yes, there's nothing stopping you from getting these models and painting them, but having them alongside plastic units within the Eldari range, having them stand next side to side with each other, has them stick out like a sore thumb. Heck, the Guardian on Lilith's base is basically a metaphor for the state that these models are in, mummified and ancient. Now, when Jane Czar and her Howling Banshees were given a whole new range of plastic models, this has opened Pandora's box for Games Workshop, as in this has opened the opportunity for them to update the range of the Eldari Craftworlds. You know, like Fire Dragons, Guardians, Striking Scorpions, Swooping Hawks, all that. I already made a video about something like that already. And with all honesty, with the positive feedback that came from Jane Czar and her Banshees during 8th edition, this has basically shown Games Workshop that this is what people would like to see. That they want to see new Craftworlders, and the positive feedback shows this. Now, we do know that this will eventually happen. After all, if they could update the whole model range of these sororitas, something that no one thought Games Workshop would ever do, and they're still continuing to get new stuff even today, then it's safe to say that eventually the Craftworlders would be born again as a phoenix, just like the sororitas, and just like the Necrons when 9th edition came around. Now, when this rebirth eventually happens, an interesting question did pop into my mind, that being, does this apply to the Dire Avengers? Now, why am I asking this? Well, here's the thing. They seem to have aged well. As in, as time went on, when 4th edition came and went, it doesn't seem that these Dire Avengers seem to have lost their quality as time went by. I mean, if you were to have them stand next side to the Howling Banshees, who came out during 8th edition, they don't seem too out of place. Yet if you were to put the Guardians next side to the Howling Banshees, you would see the quality difference, and it is pretty distracting. Now, I'm not the only one who's saying this. I popped this question once upon a time on my Twitter page, and I did get a fair amount of response saying that even though the Dire Avengers are pretty old, their quality hasn't been lost, and if anything, they still hold up even now. Again, you can have them stand next side to your Howling Banshees, and the quality difference isn't distracting. Now, again, what's the purpose of this? Why am I asking this? Well, I guess the reason why I'm asking this is that even though they're old, and even though it would be neat to see a new way of Games Workshop updating the Dire Avengers, the question is, in what range, or in what level of priority are the Dire Avengers in needing to get new models? Because, you know, there's a difference between needing an update and wanting an update. I mean, Striking Scorpions, Swooping Hawks, Fire Dragons, the Avatar of Cain, the Guardians, it seems like they fall under the category of something that needs updating. Something that is in need of an update. Yet with the Dire Avengers, again, because of their quality, it would seem, at least to me at least, they would fall under the category of something that's in wanting of an update, but not something that's needed. The other aspect warriors, and all the other ancient models of the Craftworlder range that need the updates, would seem to be at the top of the priority list of something that needs to be updated. Again, because it seems that the Dire Avengers are under wanting an update. If anything, I think people would be more excited over new plastic Striking Scorpions or Swooping Hawks over, say, Dire Avengers. Because, you know, the Dire Avengers are already plastic, but all the other aspect warriors, with the exception of the Howling Banshees, are still fine casts. make these models accessible. Now, there are a few ways that Games Workshop can update the Dire Avengers. That would be a neat idea for them to do. For example, because the Dire Avengers, because they are an aspect warrior class, they would be at the front of the line. These are experienced fighters who are trained under the warrior path, so they would be at the front of the line of a Craftworlder military force, whereas the militia, the Guardians, would be at the rear. And as such, maybe they should be in like a sort of running position, sprinting towards the front line. Maybe even having them like leap off of Eldari ruins, or having them look like they're dodging enemy fire. That would be a very neat way to update them. Give them a more exciting look. And of course, there would be nothing wrong with also doing male and female Dire Avengers. That wouldn't be a problem. And another thing that they could do for the Dire Avengers is that they definitely need to update their Phoenix Lord, Asuryani. Because he's still a fine cast model, and that doesn't make sense to me. If the Dire Avengers got a whole range of plastic models in 4th edition, why didn't they update Asuryani? Why didn't they update their Phoenix Lord? It would be almost as if during 8th edition, if Games Workshop decided to update the Howling Banshees, but not update their Phoenix Lord. If they did that, that would make no sense at all. But again, because of how well the Dire Avengers seem to have aged, and because of all the other stuff that needs to be updated first, it would seem that the Dire Avengers would be at the bottom of the list of stuff that would need to be updated. But hey, update all the other stuff that needs to be updated so that they can become accessible for everyone else before we update something that is already accessible. But that is my opinion at the end of the day. I would certainly like to hear your opinions in the comments down below this video. Do you think the Dire Avengers are in need or something that's in wanting of an update? And what aspect warrior class would you like to see get a whole new range of plastic models during this rebirth? And what other ways could Games Workshop do to update the Craftworlders? Tell me your ideas in the comments down below this video. And, with all said and done, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again next week with a brand new video. Have a good day, guys. And if you enjoyed this video and you would like to subscribe, make sure to activate the bell notification button so you'll never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I'll see you again soon. Have a good one.